and every team takes on their own identity. Some are finesse, some are physical. This team was physical. This team was tough. This team, was next man up quite a bit of the year, and we grew from it, and they grew from it, and I think that's a remarkable thing about them. And to come here and battle like they did, even in the midst of, again, injuries right from the first play with Dorian, and I think that's I love these guys. I really do. They gave us all they had.
Sean McDermott took the Bills to the playoffs for the first time in 18 years in his first year on the job in 2017. The next year they acquired Josh Allen, and they have been to the playoffs 2019, 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. That wasn't enough to bring Sean McDermott back for a 10th season, Devin McCourty. The news broke yesterday just after we went off the air. Chris Sims addressed it on Unbuttoned. I did a PFTPM before I left Chicago, but that's still the news that's resonating throughout the National Football League. At a time when there was so much already going on, boom, Sean McDermott, after all those playoff appearances, after all that success in Buffalo, is out, and the total number of openings in this cycle hit 10. Some of them have been filled. More have been filled since yesterday, but nearly a third of the league is changing coaches from 2025 to 2026. And good morning. Good to see you made it back from Chicago. I hope it's warmer in New Jersey than it was in Chicago. It's actually as cold in West Virginia as it was in Chicago. But, and we'll talk about this later, we have the closest thing we're ever going to have to a football national champion in Curt Cignetti, former West Virginia quarterback. His dad was head coach of the Mountaineers, and Curt Cignetti is now the king of college football. And again, good morning.
Yeah, we'll discuss that later. It has nothing to do with West Virginia. I know you got on your little West Virginia quarter zip and all that. It's Indiana University's day. We're not somehow bringing West Virginia into this thing. I love how you did that.
He played quarterback at West Virginia. He played quarterback at West Virginia. Where was the Rutgers former quarterback last night?
Rutgers' former linebacker was from Miami, so we kind of were in a national championship too. So in this transfer portal life, we'll take it. But for me, being in New England, I witnessed the Sean McDermott complete turnaround from, I think it was like 14 years in a row at one point they had beat Buffalo, New England. It was like some crazy stat. How many times, they beat Buffalo before I got there. I got to be a part of it. I think Buffalo beat us once when I was there in 2012 until McDermott got there and then Josh Allen got there. So this complete flip of how we all view Buffalo is completely different. This team is expected to make the playoffs, expected to be a contender year in and year out. And they were, I think, one of only 4 teams to win 6 straight divisional playoff games or whatever it was, or wild card games. Like, the Buffalo Bills whole organization felt like it was going back to the Jim Kelly 1990s era because of Sean McDermott and what he had done with his time being there. And I know that included Brandon Beane and different people coming in that organization. Brian Dable came there, left and got a head coaching job. Joe Brady's name is heavily involved in all of these different coaching searches. And that was all brought together by Sean McDermott and what he had done. So I was shocked to see that. And I know his name had been brought up, and I think it was this feeling with all these different teams and quarterbacks not in the playoffs that Josh Allen needed to reach the Super Bowl this year, even though so many of us had discussed, hey, man, this team had been through a lot. I don't know if it's the best assembled team even prior to the injuries that this team went through, and they still got there, and they were, a few bad calls away from possibly playing this past weekend, in the playoffs. So I don't know. I continue to wonder when we see these things, especially for Buffalo, because now they got to make that decision at the tail end. So now you see the coaches who are fired, you see who's available, and they still decided to say, hey, we need to move on. I do wonder, where do they think McDermott lacked that they have to find in their next head coach? Was it time management? Was it situational football? Like, I think those are the things that I wonder to say, okay, where do they want to go to next? Do they look at the Baltimore Ravens and say, hey, they had Mike McDonald in their building and they didn't make a move, and now he's coaching in the conference championship in Seattle? Do they look at Joe Brady that way of saying, hey, we can't lose Joe Brady? Or do they say, hey, Brian Dable's free, Josh Allen loved him, we can't allow him to end up somewhere else? Like, it felt like the New England Patriots did last year with Gerard Mayo, moving on so they could get Mike Vrabel. It feels like maybe that kind of situation more than anything for a reason to move on from McDermott at this point.
In my view, there has been this question over the past few years with the Bills knocking on the door but unable to kick it in. And I think there's a danger in getting close enough to tantalize ownership, to make the fan base just kind of like, can we get this done? And you get to a point where the question arises, do we need someone else to get us over the hump? And it's a question we had brought up from time to time, and I've been mentioning it over the past few years. And I know that people in Buffalo, in the organization, get nervous when it came up, because the question, Devin, is talent or coaching? Is there not enough around Josh Allen, or is there enough around him, but the coaching staff, led by Sean McDermott, is failing to get enough out of those players? That was the question. So, does the coach need to go? Does the GM need to go? Do both need to go? Do neither need to go? And those were the permutations as we went to the playoffs. As the Bills were getting ready to go face the Jacksonville Jaguars, Josh Allen had never won a road playoff game. The Bills hadn't won a road playoff game as a franchise since the 1992 AFC Championship. Once I saw them beat the Jaguars, I took my foot off the pedal of Sean McDermott could be fired if he loses in the playoffs. And in hindsight, we shouldn't have. Because going into the playoffs, yeah, he could be in trouble if he loses in the wild card round. All division round, but the issues were still there. The factors were still there. No Mahomes, no Burrow, no Lamar. This is your chance. And if you don't make it, Josh Allen's going to take the blame, but Sean McDermott's going to take the fall, and that's exactly what happened. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.